Hey everyone, it's Piranha06 coming to you from my downtown condo man cave. And I know I said I had done my last video, I had no upgrades planned, but I've gone and done it again. So let me show you. Okay, so from the initial glance, it doesn't look all that different, but there are some key new things that if you are astute and watched most of my other videos, you might be able to see right off the bat. So the first one, let's go ahead and talk about this, is I got a new PC. So I had my other, the other case for probably almost 15 years. And I had that PC for a long time. I had upgraded little parts here and there, but I had mined some Bitcoin, and I was going to hold on to that for a while until I was ready to cash it in. And the whole goal was to get a new PC. So that's what I have done. I don't do a lot of RGB, mostly red and black just to go with my theme. But I'll give you a good little look into it. There's a lot of fans and everything is new. So let me run through. I'm not going to read every detail of every part. I'll have that in the link to my parts list below as always. But basically, it's a Lee & Lee case, an Asus Crosshair Hero motherboard. I switched to AMD Ryzen this time. I've been an Intel guy for a long time. I had a AMD Thunderbird. I don't even know if it was called AMD back in those days. Like 2005-ish, I built that one, and it actually blew up on me. I don't know, it overheated. The processor burned up. I assume the heatsink paste had dried up and created cracks, and it overheated and died on me. So I had Intel before. I swapped to Intel at that time, and I've been totally happy ever since. But there have been some issues recently, so I decided to give AMD a try. And so that's what I got. I got the AMD Ryzen 9 9950 X3D. So the top dog. It's a 4.3 gigahertz 16 core processor. I've also got a whole bunch of Corsair IQ fans, along with the AIO water, self-contained, all-in-one package, water-cooled, what's that called? The Titan 360 LCD. I went ahead and got 96 gigs of RAM, two 48 gig sticks kit. They are DDR5 6400 PC5 512 dual channel. And I got the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 tough triple fan 32 gig GDDR7 graphics card, Asus. I'm not sure if I said Asus. I had a 3090 before, and so it was time to upgrade. Got a 16 watt power supply, a Corsair. I've got four 4 terabyte SSDs. I do have a sound card in there. It barely fits, just because I'm old school and I like to have the option if I need something. Like I've had butt kickers before, and they needed a sound card, so that was a cheap add-on. So I decided to just have a sound card just in case I ever need it. Like I said, more Corsair fans. I think there's 10 fans, 3 on the bottom, 3 on the side, 3 on the top, and then 1 on the back that you can see back there. Let's see. So one thing, I work for Micro Center, so I do get an employee discount on all of this, most of this, if it's within the window of having a cheaper price. Sometimes a lot of times the price you pay is as cheap as I can get it as an employee. So, but it did save me several $100s on this PC. Probably about, I think I figured it up, about 8 or 9% of the total cost. And as you can imagine from hearing what it has in it, and if you want to go look at the list, you'll see this is about a $10,000 PC. So it saved me about 9% of that, I think, is what I figured out. I also, it's kind of hard to see, but I did get a Blu-ray drive burner. Again, I've got some Blu-rays. I don't have any other way to play them. I guess I do have a PlayStation 3 I could play them on, but just in case I want to back up something to a Blu-ray disc or play a Blu-ray, it's just a nice little add-on. And I didn't think about it when I went to buy the case. Not all cases have bays anymore, as you can see this one didn't. So I bought an external USB version. So that's what's over there on the side. Let's see, was there anything else? So I did buy a lot of the extended warranties because those have a big employee discount. So I did get those. Normally I wouldn't, but I did for this. Also, it is Windows 11, and I bought a copy of Office. My wife has Office as an educator, but I always had to log in with her account, and it was just a pain because she has to change her password all the time. And so I just, while I was buying everything new, I just went ahead and bought my own copy of Office. So that's on there as well. But one thing I wanted to show you over here that I bought in my little console is I had a NAS, but after doing a lot of research on NAS, I realized they're not as foolproof as you think they are. So I just bought this USB hub dock, hard drive dock. So I had a couple of old hard drives. There's a 3 gig and a 2 gig in there. And then we were having a nice sale. And this was months ago. This was months before I ever decided to get the PC. So actually this was like back in January, I think, when I decided to upgrade this part because I was having some problem. I had an old Buffalo that I had to go into the registry and change something every time Windows did an update just to get it to recognize it. So after doing some research, I was going to get another NAS, but after doing more research, I realized I think this is the easiest and safest way, and I just do backups from one to the other on my own monthly. So, and then I also create a image of my C&D drive onto these. So I think it's probably the best. You know, it takes a little bit of manual labor to do it, but it's kind of worth it in the end to me. But the two big ones are two 20 terabyte Toshiba drives that holds, as you know, with flight sims, you can get a lot of storage filled up quickly with maps and planes and things. So, and I do DCS and Microsoft Flight Simulator, not as often as I wish, but I do. And I like to download everything in advance that I could possibly need. So, so that's those two. That's the majority of the upgrade as far as you don't really see it, but you really feel it. So, and it's not part of the rig really. It's just driving the rig, but it is a big upgrade. Hopefully it'll last me for another 5 to 6 years because I don't have any more Bitcoin. So the next PC will come out of my pocket. This PC was basically free. That's the only reason I would ever build a $10,000 PC. I had $10,000 of Bitcoin that cost me nothing other than the graphics card that I bought in 2000, 2001, when the 3090s came out. I mined for about 1.5 years. Just anytime I wasn't playing, I let the video card mine. And so that gave me a nice little nest egg. And then, you know, as Bitcoin has grown over the years, it got to the point where I couldn't resist anymore. So I decided to go ahead and cash it out and get the new PC because it was time. Now, as far as the rig goes, you might have noticed some things hanging on the back here. So I did not buy this. I work closely with the people who do R&D and the buyers for the race sim equipment that Microsoft carries. And they had this vendor sample, and she's letting me bring it home and try it out. So I did not pay for this. I am not endorsing. This is a Qubic system BT-1 belt tensioner system. So basically all it is it's direct drive motors in this box. And I assume there's 2 of them because they operate independently. And you hook a 5-point harness to it. And so that's what this is. And I've just got the extra harness part wrapped around the back, hanging, and a little bungee cord with them hooked together so they don't flail about. And then I've got a couple of little soft cushions that I rigged to strap around because these are a lot bigger. These are seatbelt cushions, but they're a 5-point harness is much wider than a normal seatbelt, so I just turn them the other way and zip tied them to get on there so that they don't fall off, because the nylon really digs into your neck. So I will say this is not anything I would ever have bought, but next to the Motion, it is probably the coolest thing as far as immersion. It helps make you feel G-forces. It's still not sustained G-forces, but it will pull and hold to simulate a sustained G-force. Still doesn't trick your brain totally, but it is kind of cool. I originally had all 5 straps connected to this. Quickly realized, because of all it's doing is just pulling on the shoulder straps, I don't need the side straps. So it's basically a 3-point harness. It is a 5-point harness that I got from Jegs. And it's a cam lock connection. So I'm just not using 2 of the straps. I've got them. If I ever do want to attach them, I can. Or if I would ever want to sell the 5-point harness, I have the full set. So that's the first big one. And to get it to mount, I had to fabricate some 80/20 back here. So I can kind of see what all it took. So basically 2 posts off the back and then a cross member to mount it on. To get it, they want the belts to be almost perfectly vertical, and this is pretty good. So I got it pulled out as little as possible, but 80/20 is not cheap, so that was just to get because I had to buy a harness and that mounting hardware, so just to use this free device cost me several $100s. But if you look, the BT1, I think in the US right now it's going for about $1,800, $1,900. Again, I would never buy one, but I am definitely gonna try it out for a long time. Okay, so the next thing you may have noticed is I have a new HOTAS. This is no longer the Cytec X55. I have upgraded to WinWing. So this is the Orion 2 throttle. It's the Strike Ace EX2 throttle grip with the finger lifts. And then the joystick, or the stick, is the Navy Ace joystick grip and stick extension. So honestly, I've only used them just a little bit so far, and just making sure they work. I have got to go through and reprogram all of my buttons in DCS. I haven't done that because it's a daunting, probably entire day task to get completely mapped correctly. And it's been a while since I've flown, so it'll be me trying to learn to fly all over again with new equipment. The last thing I got, and this is it, this is all, is I upgraded to the Quest 3 at the same time I bought my PC. So that's the Quest 3, the Bobo, is it Bobo VR? Yeah, Bobo VR head strap, which is the same one I had, the Quest 3 version of that same brand that I had for the Quest 2. I really enjoy how it feels, and so the earphones are the same. I just migrated those over. I did get a custom facial insert and cloth covers and a little lens cover in there to keep the sunlight out so it doesn't mess the lenses up. And then Real Optics prescription magnetic inserts so that I don't have to wear glasses. And if you have glasses and use VR, Real Optics is, I've tried 3 different brands with, oh shoot, I forget what the Quest was called before it was called Quest. But anyway, with that, or the original, I had the S version. I used one company. Then when I got the Quest 2, I used a different company. And now with the Quest 3, I watched some reviews and tried Real Optics, and they are first class. I mean, they're low profile. My eyelashes don't even hit the lenses. And I've got a smaller lens or a facial insert in than the one that comes with it. And so, yeah, it's top notch. I can't say enough about it. Other than that, I did a couple of because of more power requirements and new changes to the PC, the USB ports and everything. I redid some wiring as far as moving some USB connections around, some power connections around. That was basically it. Oh, I did get the a new back pillow, just for comfort. But I think that is it on list. So it's not a very long video, but it's probably the most expensive upgrade video I have ever done. This everything total here was probably, probably pushing 2,500. Sorry, 12,500 to maybe 13,000 once all told. Oh, definitely. I didn't think about the WinWing stuff. Yeah, this is over $13,000 in upgrades with the PC, the WinWing, and the Qubic system stuff, and the Quest 3. Yeah, this is probably pushing 14,000. Now, I was able to sell my old PC, actually to a buddy who was getting back into sim racing and flight sim for a good price, because the graphics card that was in that, the Asus 3090 Tough, is still going for over $800 on eBay. So he got a 1,000-watt power supply and 64 gigs of RAM and 4 1 terabyte drives and things like that. So he got a very good PC for like, I think I sold it to him for $1,200 or $1,300. So I posted it publicly. You all had your chance, could have gotten it, but he wound up with it. And I also sold him the Quest 2 because he's gonna do his flight sim stuff with VR as well. So that's basically it for this update. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, remember I have links below to my entire parts list, so you can see the entire everything I have ever spent on this current configuration. I even have tabs for old equipment that I have taken off and sold. All of the software expenses with iRacing and DCS and Microsoft Flight Simulator and things like that. So you can see every bit how much this cost and every single component on this thing. I mean, down to the cable label ties that I have back here, those colored label zip tie things. I mean, there's one group I put that's just miscellaneous, nuts and bolts and things like that. But everything else is listed out, pretty much a full exhaustive list. One thing I forgot to mention, because you can't really see it, is I tied these two together just to help. Well, it looks like it's come loose. I need to tighten it back up. But every once in a while, when I finish racing, things were askew, the cups were askew in the vibration dampeners, and I just felt a little safer by tethering the one leg on the right to the base on the left, which is bolted to the floor. It can't move. So, but it looks like I need to redo that, or maybe come up with a stronger solution. So I will do that. But that's all the mods. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you have any questions, I always try to answer as quickly as possible. And yeah, I'll answer anything you have questions about, and use the links below to see my entire playlist of this rig, and my previous rig also is below. And I hope you enjoy. Thanks again.